Recently, I saw a story about this mother who was talking about these frustrations. She was saying things like, every single morning, one of my children can't find one of their shoes, and just every single morning is the same thing over and over and over again. And she was just talking about the frustrations behind it. There's always something going on, and we're always running late. All these things, And she was saying it's really important for them to leave at a certain time, get the kids to school, she get to work, because along the way is a train track. And if they don't leave by a certain time, they will be stopped by the train track. Well, there's one morning where they were like cutting it close, and unfortunately, she was the last car not to get through this train track. Had to wait, And she's just thinking about all these frustrations. We've done this better and this better and this better. We would have made, we got past this train. At the same time, her daughter in the back seat had said to her mom, "If we're lucky, we'll get to see the train today." And it made her rethink about what she was thinking about. She was seeing that train as a burden, and all the problems and the struggles and all those things as the burden. But she went on to say, I started to realize that just beyond that train track is Jesus waiting for us. And she goes, I was looking, only paying attention to the problems and the struggles and all these things, and I wasn't looking past it. All I could see was the problems, the struggles, frustrations. And I think we all go through that. We all have times where we focus on those problems and the struggles and the frustrations and all these things, where we get focused on those things. Because I think what happens is that we get so focused on those things, we forget to see past those things. Because that's where Jesus really is. Because today in our gospel he says, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me." What we have with Jesus is a relationship. He calls to us. He speaks to us. He tells us how much he loves us. We can't have a relationship with the problems and the stress and all those things. It's impossible. All they are is just stuff in the way. We can never have a relationship with the struggles and the problems. Only with Jesus and others. As followers of Jesus, as disciples of our Lord, first and foremost, we have a relationship with him that begins in his love. Because every day, he's calling to us. He's calling to us to see him beyond these things that get in the way. He's calling us to recognize his voice in the midst of all the problem and the struggle. Because he wants us to know that he leads us through those things and not stay with those things. It's very easy for us to stay focusing on the problems and the struggles and all those things, where he calls us to seek him first. Today being Mother's Day, we honor our mothers, obviously not just one day of the year, obviously every single day we honor our mothers. But this day particularly, because we want to really thank our mothers for all those years, all the countless support, love, all those things. To remind us that, our parents create a home for us. And mothers help create that house we live in to be in a home. And that home is where love dwells. And that love that we know, that home that we live in now, is a home that we live in, but it also prepares us for our home in heaven as well. that love we know and receive here and now, is the one that prepares us to know what we will have forever. And today we take this time today to particularly remember and thank our mothers for that love and that home they've created with their husbands, with our fathers. Because in that home, that love that we know and see is the one that helps us to flourish. Helps us to realize that in our home is where we come to know who we are, who God created us to be, and where God is calling us to go. Because of that relationship, that first relationship we have with Jesus. As followers of Jesus, we have that relationship with him. That home that we have that helps us to flourish, to live, and know the path of God for us. I think the same way as we come here to our churches, to our Sunday masses, how are we helping this be a home for people too? How are we welcoming people in to this sacred encounter with God? This encounter where God imparts his body and blood, his life to us. And what people truly are starving for is seeing that life of Christ inside of us. Seeing that life, that love that is inside of us of our relationship with him. How are we helping people know and see Christ when they come here? Because we receive him every Sunday. So on this day, on this Mother's Day, we thank God for our mothers. You know, and in doing so, this week we have a great event coming up on Wednesday night where we have, it's called the Heart and Habits of Mission, where we can go deeper into our understanding of being a disciple, a follower of Jesus, and have that and understand more of the voice that he speaks to us, and help us to know more fully of how he's calling us to go. So I urge you, if you please, Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m., Hearts and Habits of Mission. Because the more that we follow our Lord, the more that we live our faith and be disciples of knowing that relationship we have with Jesus, the more we then show Jesus to the world. And on this day, let's always remember, through the frustration, the struggle, all those things, our Lord is right there calling us to see past those things, to have that real relationship with him, that first relationship with him, so that we may then follow his path and in love our brothers and sisters and truly live and show the life of Christ that lives in all of us.